So welcome back to a fairly long break in proceedings, just an hour's lunch, a few of the races in between, but we are back live now for the first of today's stock races. BSSO Bantam boys just coming back in, so the scooters will be coming out of the holding bay up the top. So I'm the opposite end of the circuit now. I was up on the bank over there where the other people are standing earlier. Come down here. AD had an off down here in the last race in Supers, but he's all okay. Lever's a bit scuffed up, bike's not too bad. So it wasn't the mechanical I suspected, but being up the other end, this is part of the circuit that I couldn't see where it disappeared, but he's all signed off and ready to go again now on his 4E in the stock class. So the scooters are just behind the sheds there. They'll be coming into view down there. You can see the helmets above the fences. So they're off on the warm-up lap. We can see the lights from here as well, just in the centre of the picture over there for this one. A bit more of the track here at this one, so we can see the start finish straight down into the hairpin and round the double left and disappearing down the bottom there, and then they're going to have a right turn and another right, and then they're up onto the back straight through the trees, then round to the back side of the circuit. That's just up before Honda, the one corner that I seem to remember the name of. I did say I'd have a look and I forgot. Everyone safely around, coming to line up on the grid for the race start. So like I say, this is the first of the production races today. So we've run Supers first, then stock scooters this weekend, same as East Fortune. I believe your pole sitter is Dave Bristow. They had a great showing on the 4E out in Supers in the last race, coming in second to John. AD will be looking to make amends for the off he had in first race, a collision with Gav Gray. Just a racing incident, but when AD's race was over on the first end of this section of the first lap. I think that's the lights. I can't see the lights on that. Oh, there you go. The lights are on. And they're off and away. So looked like Jimmy got away fairly well, but then Dave Bristow took the lead. So Simon Palmer challenging Jimmy down into the hairpin. Gets busy down into there, and as they all accelerate out of there, this is quite often the place people get into little tussles and you have the occasional clash, but everyone's coming through clean. Can't see any flags. Dave Bristow out in the lead, closely followed by Jimmy Mack. Very similar lap times in qualifying, so expect that one to be a close one. Scott then first of the production scooters through, then it's Simon Palmer on his 4E. Lady's still middle of the pack at the minute, but expect to watch him move up. Weighing out of sight for the first time. See Rod Shipley's orange vest disappearing round, so they're back out to the trees, they're down through the section going into Honda. Looks like Dave's still out front with Jim McNally in second place. Then stand the start finish straight. Yeah, Dave's still out in the lead. He's not broken away from Jimmy yet. Jimmy will still think he can catch him. I'd say they were both doing in the 1:16s in general, but Dave did a 1:15.7, I think it was. Put himself ahead in pole, but it was just the one lap that he did the 1:15, so he'll be now trying to break Jimmy by just putting in some fast laps early on, but Jimmy's managing to stick with him. He'll be wanting not to let him get away, so he's got a sniff of it. Scott separated himself from the rest of the bunch on his production scooter, so well ahead of first production. Looks like John Holt second in production. Aidy's starting to make his way through the pack. There's Kale. First time here for Kale. Learning the track. Getting faster every time. And it's Rod. Silla's going through into Honda. Right, Harry, glad you can make this one. So Dave, if anything, he's starting to just slightly pull away from Jimmy. It'll only take one little misgear or throttle off for a wobble or something, and Jimmy will be back right on him. Dave is doing what he wanted to do, and he has a look to see where he is. See if he's managing to break the toe, but Jimmy's still with him. Jimmy's on it through there, he's catching him up through there. Jimmy's definitely giving it the full beans through there. And then it's Scott Thompson on the Chisel Speed production bike. Then Damon Yates on the Group 4 and John Holt on the production bike. SRP. Keith Terry out in Group 4 as well, I believe. Dave can go through there, and Joe Palmer, closely followed by Kale. Nothing wrong with his riding style, he's hanging off that little small frame. Rod comes through. So looking at the gap between Dave and Jimmy, he's being consistent and managing just to creep away ever so slightly at the minute. Come here, a pair of them dragging the knee round the apex. Dave is now starting just to squeak away from Jimmy a little tiny bit. Jimmy won't have given up, but if Dave can keep those lap times rolling, I don't think Jimmy's going to be able to catch him. Scott on his production bike, and Aidy's now right up through the pack. He was 4 or 5 scooters back last lap, so he's made great inroads on that one. We'll be looking now to break away and see if he can get onto the back of Jimmy, but that's going to be a tall order. He's still managed to stay in 3rd position overall, going down through the bottom section there. Look back to Joe Palmer and Kale again. They've got really good riding style, hanging off that. Knee not far off, skimming the tarmac. Look back, and Dave, Bristow and Jimmy are down through the bottom complex there already. Already starting to come across the back marker in Rod Shipley. Dave looking to the inside, nice and cleanly through. And if Jimmy comes across him in the wrong place, that might give Dave just another couple of hundredths. Jimmy got through all right though, round the outside. Like a Buffalo girl. And we've got Scott. Smooth as ever. Way off in the lead. Aidy is now breaking away from Damon. We'll be able to see Scott in the distance, but it's a bit of an ask to make it up. There's quite a long distance away for him to get up to Scott. Gav Gray. on the gorgeous red production bike. Dave Can on the SRP production scoot. And Joe Palmer. Weather, if anything, is even nicer than it was this morning. With blue skies. Still a little bit of a breeze, but not anything too windy to disrupt the scooters. Yeah, Dave's now broke him, I think. Dave can keep his lap times consistent. He has a look as he goes down there, and he'll not have seen Jimmy, so he'll know he's breaking away from him. Look back as Scott comes through. How far back is it to AD? Can't see him yet. Still quite a way. There he is. Yeah, it's going to be too much of an ask, but it's still going to be a third. He's looking down though. I don't know whether he's got an issue. He's got issues changing gear. Damon able to go around him. Is it just a temporary misgear maybe? They get back. John Holt gone through on him as well now. He might have an issue. It's Gav Gray and Gary Smith go through. Then Dave Can should be followed by Joe Palmer. There he is. Kale just about get lapped by Dave, goes up the inside. That is close. Oh, he's had to throttle off there to avoid clipping Kale, but he's got round him on the outside going into the right hander, and he's off and away again now, so Jimmy didn't benefit too much from that. Scott in a really lonely race, but he's not going to moan at another first place in production. Adie's now got back in front of Damon, but Damon and John both take him up the inside. He's still looking down at his gear changes. He's coming through those double lefts. So mechanically wise it looks okay. Just looks like he's having an issue changing gear. I think that was Graham Tatton going up the inside of Simon Palmer. And Keith Terry going through. And the other Group 4 bike. And Gary Smith's catching his mate Gav Gray. Nice to see them having a battle again. I think he's looked up the inside. He got up the inside of him, but Gav was just able to get better drive out of the corner because he was on the right line. He stays in front of him, but that one might turn into a good scrap. Dave comes through again. Jimmy now got Joe Palmer to negotiate. We look back, we can see Damon challenging Adie down the straight. So this is Adie's able to catch him up around the back section where there's less gear changes. But coming through this section, he just seems to be having that little bit of issue coming into the first of the double lefts. See how he gets on this time. He looks more on it this time. Doesn't look to be having that issue this time. So he's off and away now, and hopefully should be able to start increasing that gap on Damon again. Then Graham going through with Jem Steele and I think it was Tim Simpson. Then Simon Palmer, Keith Terry, Rod Chifley, and Gary has got through on Gav. Gav's not giving up. He's closed right in on him there. He's got better drive coming out that bottom right hand corner. Gary just managed to stay in front. Jimmy comes through there again, chasing Dave down, but Dave is just again creeping away from him. Look back to see if this should be Kale. Scott coming round to lap him, both on the Chisel Speed Scoots. Kale's still doing amazing for say it's first time he's been here. And then we've got 80 Oryx coming through. Again, seems to be had to throttle off a little bit there as he was going a little bit wide towards the grass. Probably a little gulp, but then back on it. And he has broke away now from the following pair of Damon Yates and John Holt. John doing really well in production, second in production and giving chase to a Group 4 machine, so riding the wheels off that little production scooter. Keith Terry on the other Group 4 bike. His original Kegra Racing colours. Imagine engine and everything maintained and done by JB Tuning currently. John's here this weekend, not racing, but he is here. Jimmy through there. Full beans, giving it all. Dave Can. Joe Palmer. About to get caught up by young Frank, Scott Thompson. Kale riding that bike really well. It does look a little bit slower than I would expect the scooter where he's got an issue, but Joe Palmer's able to creep away from him, and Kale looks like he's riding hard around the corners, so whether he's down on power on the straights, not sure. Graham going through there, and Jem Steele and Tim Simpson and Simon Palmer and Keith Terry. Gary Smith now broke away from Gav. Really good race from Gary. I've seen him so up for it for a while now. He looks like he's definitely enjoying this one. He looks like he's not sure whether they're about to lap. Oh my god, they're letting cars through on a live track. I'm not sure how that works. Are you for real? It's because the race had ended. We're alright. I thought that was a bit like I said, I think I've been complaining about that. So that's the end of the first stock race today. Your champion, Mr. Bristow. Great ride from Jimmy in second place. Well done, Rod. And your first in production, Scott Thompson, Dave Can, Joe Palmer. Here comes AD. If he wants to get a better start, he'd be right up in that front bunch, because I don't know how he got through that pack the way he did, but he did really well. Takes third in 4E. Tail comes through. And then he'll be followed by second place in production, John Holt. Third, Graham. Jem, Tim, Simon Palmer, Hampshire Union finest. Keith Terry, Gav and Gary come through. So that's it for this one. Someone pushing back, I think it's Damon. So that's it for the first stock race today. So we should have two more, but it is 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Not sure what time we're running to, hopefully 6 o'clock, and then we should be able to get the next two in. Any that don't will carry over till tomorrow. So chances are we'll probably get at least one Supers race and hopefully another stock race. If not, the stock race will follow on tomorrow. So stay tuned and wait on the notifications for the next race, which will be the second Supers race. Thanks for joining. See you soon.